Welcome to Love Speaks the Loudest. Relax, unwind, and enjoy today's stories. Don't forget to subscribe for more. Here's the first one. The moment Logan stepped into the coffee shop, his attention was irresistibly drawn to her. Now, seated just one table away, he finds his gaze continually drifting in her direction, as though some invisible force is pulling him closer. Yes, she's beautiful, but plenty of girls are beautiful. There's something different about her, something unique that sets her apart. She sits alone with a laptop in front of her, steam curling from a mug at her side. Logan wonders, does she prefer coffee, tea, or perhaps something more intriguing, like spiced apple cider? Her fingers move deftly across the keyboard, her nails painted a vivid red that matches the striking shade of her lips. A small necklace rests on her collarbone, displaying the letter S. He catches himself speculating about her name. Samantha, Sarah, Stephanie. Each possibility feels like a puzzle he's desperate to solve. Then she smiles, her expression breaking into a radiant grin that seems to illuminate her entire face. Her eyes sparkle with joy, and Logan's heart aches with a longing to be the reason behind that smile. He imagines her gaze meeting his, her laughter directed at something he said. She pauses, brushing her bangs away from her milk chocolate hair. It cascades in loose waves around her shoulders, a shade or two darker than his own. He can't help but wonder if it smells like strawberries, his favourite fruit. For as long as he can remember, people have told Logan that everything happens for a reason. He's always dismissed it as an overused cliché, but now, for the first time, it resonates. It's as if every rejection, every painful moment has been leading him to this exact moment. His only real relationship with Tessa ended in heartbreak when she cheated on him. After that, his attempt to move on with Victoria had been cut short by her insistence. I'm just not looking for a relationship right now. Yet, all of that, the betrayal, the loneliness, has brought him here, to her. The spell is broken when she picks up her phone and holds it to her ear. Logan watches her lips move as she speaks, but the hum of the coffee shop makes it impossible to catch her voice. He imagines it to be soft and melodic, like a breeze stirring through the leaves on a spring morning. He yearns to hear her, to know if her voice matches the dream he's already built in his mind. He knows he can't sit idly by. He has to act. The air feels heavy, as though it's pressing him into his seat, and each breath is a battle. Summoning every ounce of courage, he stands. His legs feel leaden, his instincts urging him to retreat. But he doesn't. One step, then another, and then another. Each movement carries him closer to her. 4 steps, 5. Now he's standing beside her table. His heart races, his palms slick with sweat, and even the tops of his ears burn with anticipation. Time seems to stretch, the world slowing around him. She looks up, her gaze meeting his, and he knows she's waiting for him to speak. He draws in a deep breath, steadying himself before the words escape his lips. Is this seat taken? Later, Logan arrives at her place to pick her up for their first big outing. She's waiting outside, a vision that takes his breath away. You look stunning, he says as she slides into the car, his tone filled with sincerity. She smiles, but he can tell she's a little nervous. By now, he knows her well enough to notice the small signs. Don't worry, he reassures her, a warm grin playing on his lips. My parents are harmless. She nudges his shoulder with a playful laugh. I know, I just really want them to like me. He turns toward her, gently taking her hand in both of his. Bringing it to his lips, he places a soft kiss on her fingers. They're going to love you just as much as I do, he assures her with quiet confidence, and in his heart, he knows it's true. The weight of the grass beneath his knee feels steady and grounding as he lowers himself down, the small velvet box held securely in his hand. Looking up into her eyes, he opens the box and asks the question that could forever change his life. His silent plea is clear. He wants her to say yes, to make him the happiest man in the world. I'll get her, Logan murmurs, untangling himself from the bedsheets as he rises. The dark hallway stretches ahead of him, leading to the nursery where their baby's cries pierce the stillness of the night. He scoops her out of the crib, cradling her in his arms and gently rocking her. Her eyes are his, a perfect mirror of his own, but her smile is unmistakably her mother's. Settling into the rocking chair, he begins to tell her the story of the night he met her mother in a cozy coffee shop. The last sip of his coffee goes down quickly as Logan grabs his briefcase, running late for work as usual. "Don't forget, Madison's dance recital is at 7 tonight," his wife calls out, barely pausing as she rushes to pack the kids' lunches. "I left my backpack upstairs," shouts Lucas, bolting past them in a blur. Just as Logan pulls on his jacket and heads toward the door, he stops abruptly, realizing he's forgotten something too. Returning to the kitchen, he pulls his wife close and kisses her deeply. "Have a great day, sweetheart," he says with a smile before dashing out. "Dad, do you believe in soulmates?" teenager Lucas asks one evening, his voice thoughtful. Logan pauses before replying, "I'm not sure if there's just one perfect person for everyone, but I do know that the moment I saw your mother, I fell in love with her. I just knew, deep down, that we were meant to be. For me, it was love at first sight." Her laughter fills the house, bright and musical like sleigh bells, as Lila runs ahead of him giggling. "Grandpa's going to catch you," Logan teases as he playfully chases her. She darts behind her grandmother's rocking chair, peeking out mischievously. Pretending not to see her, Logan calls out, "Now, where could my little Lila be?" With a burst of energy, she shouts, "I'm right here," and leaps into his arms. Holding her tightly, he glances over at his wife, whose smile has lost none of its warmth over the years. The three of them laugh together, filling the house with joy. The once smooth hand he held on their first date is now wrinkled, weathered by time. Yet, it still feels just as steady in his grasp as they sit together by the crackling fire. Her white hair catches the soft glow of the flames as she rests her head against his chest. Words are unnecessary in this moment. Their peaceful silence speaks volumes. This is their happily ever after. The harsh scrape of a chair being pushed back cuts through Logan's thoughts, jolting him back to reality. It's her chair. He stays rooted in his seat, watching as she walks toward the door of the coffee shop, her hand reaching for the handle. He opens his mouth as if to call out to her, but hesitates. He doesn't know her name. Frozen in place, he watches her step outside, the door swinging shut behind her. The future he had imagined so vividly slips through his fingers, lost forever. Ah, what a bittersweet ending! Like a story that teases what might have been. But not every tale is meant to end with a perfect bow, right? Now, let's dive into our second story and see where this one takes us. The rain lashes down on us, unrelenting and unmerciful, much like the storm of emotions I feel for her. Soaked to the bone, cold and exposed, we are every bit as raw and unguarded as we feared to be. She stands there, a striking figure against the tempest. Her tall, graceful frame commands attention, her red curls now muted to a soft brown, her rosy, prominent nose pointing skyward, and her full lips slightly parted. The freckles that adorn her face are faint, almost washed away by the rain. I know who she is, not just by name, but by the whispers of her vivacious spirit, her boundless kindness, and her infectious zest for life. "Hey!" she shouts over the deluge, her voice piercing through the downpour. I lift my arm, gesturing toward the shelter of the school building, signalling for her to follow. It's clear she isn't heading home anytime soon. We talk, or rather she talks, her lips forming words that dissolve into the rain's rhythm. Her voice is lyrical, but the meaning eludes me. I'm captivated, not by her words, but by her presence. Her dimples deepen with her smile, and her green eyes, vivid and singular, seem like an entire cosmos unto themselves. Her energy radiates like an unseen force, pulling me closer, binding me to her. It feels as though I've known her all my life, as though she belongs to me, to love, to cherish, to share in laughter. But then her expression shifts. Her gaze darkens, and I snap out of my reverie, giving her my full attention. She shares her worries, her burdens, and I do the same, letting her see my vulnerabilities, my broken pieces. "I'm leaving," she says abruptly, her voice tinged with regret. "Tomorrow." Her words pierce through me, leaving a hollow ache. How could it be that someone I just found, someone who felt like a missing piece of my soul, was already slipping away? But instead of wallowing in despair, I make a decision. I will tell her how I feel. Even if we've only just met, the thought of never seeing her again is unbearable. "I have to go," she says softly, standing up and walking away. Her silhouette disappears into the rain, and instinct takes over. I follow her, my heart hammering with urgency. "Wait!" I call out, my voice cracking with desperation. She turns, her eyes locking with mine, and for a moment, the rain seems to still. I see her expression soften, and the air between us crackles with unspoken emotion. There's no turning back now. Once I speak the words, they will be real, irrevocable, etched into the fabric of existence. "I love you," I confess, my voice trembling but resolute, as the rain mingles with the tears streaming down my face. A stillness falls over us, more profound than the storm raging round. She doesn't say a word, but I can feel her answer, unspoken yet unmistakable. It's as though she plays a silent chord deep within her heart, and I hear an entire symphony. Then, as if compelled by forces beyond my understanding, my mind and soul detach from reason, and I step toward her. The rain stings my skin, but I move steadily forward, unyielding until my lips find hers. I know I've startled her, caught her completely off guard. But the sweetness of her fills my senses, flooding my soul. Her response is firm, yet tender, gentle, yet unyielding. It's more than a kiss. It's an awakening. I hold her jaw, not just to steady her, but to ground myself against the torrent of emotions threatening to sweep me away. Her skin against mine feels like destiny realized. Her lips pressed to mine bridge the chasm I never knew existed. It's a moment I've unknowingly craved, a missing piece of my being finally found. She pulses through my veins, her essence merging with mine. Every breath I take is filled with her. For now, in this fleeting moment, we are one, a union electrified, undeniable, perfect in its imperfection. The rain becomes a distant backdrop, unworthy of attention. The world around us bends to our connection. The trees sway in rhythm. The wind hums a melody. The earth trembles beneath us. Even the heavens roar as thunder rumbles, echoing the chaos and beauty of this moment. Our kiss, so long overdue, carries the weight of years, yet feels perfectly timed. It is everything, wrong and right, soft and urgent, fierce and gentle. The petrichor rises from the earth, mingling with the tempest of emotions fueling my spirit. Every element of nature seems to bow to our union, celebrating this rare and chaotic harmony. But amid the storm, a fear blooms within me. What if letting her go shatters this fragile perfection? What if letting her go means losing her forever? What if letting her go means losing myself? Reluctantly, I grip her hair and pull her away, snapping myself out of the spell. The trance breaks like a sunset giving way to an engulfing night. The vivid hues fade, and the cold weight of reality descends. Darkness takes its place, vast and infinite, swallowing everything in its path until only the raw ache of my heart remains. The rain softens, the wind whispers, the trees retreat. The magic dissolves, leaving behind an echo of what was. The curtains fall, and I stand on the stage of reality, dazed and unsure. I've done it. Kissed her at last. I've poured my soul into it with grace, passion, and reckless abandon. Yet, as I look into her eyes, I see her fear and uncertainty staring back at me. A sob escapes me as I push past her. my chest heavy with the weight of what I've done. It was wrong. It was beautiful. But most of all, it was real. And real demands something I'm not ready to give. Commitment. I steal one last glance, and what I see is her breaking. Her face in her hands, her anguish palpable. She seems to reach into her chest and pull out her heart, crushing it with trembling hands. Blood spills forth, dripping with every beat as she collapses. Her body folds, crumpling under the weight of my betrayal, until she's no longer a person, but a bloody pool dissolving into the rain. Washed away, erased by the storm. I choke on my sobs, turn away and flee. Far away. Far from her. Far from what I want. Far from what I desire. Far from the woman I love. Sheesh, what a whirlwind. Raw, haunting and utterly unforgettable, wasn't it? Love, passion, regret. It all lingers, just like the rain. Don't let the story end here. Subscribe now and let's explore more tales that hit right in the feels. By the way, where are you watching this from? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear. Have a great day.